Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're opening up a highly classified cyber thriller-style dossier on a material you might actually have sitting in your own home right now. But as our source documents reveal, the official story behind this material is just a carefully fabricated layer over a much darker, far more anomalous truth. We're conducting a forensic intelligence briefing on Nitinol, also known as nickel titanium. Get ready to have your understanding of modern material science completely rewritten based on a meticulous audit of historical data, defense patents, and suppressed crash retrievals.
Okay, let's dive into this. For decades, the public was fed a very specific, perfectly crafted narrative. The idea was that back in the late 20th century, scientists just sort of accidentally stumbled upon memory metal in a lab. They were marveling at its properties, but didn't actually understand the underlying physics. While our sources indicate this faded 1970s narrative was absolutely not some innocent scientific mistake. It was a deliberate cover-up, designed to hide a highly classified metallurgical drop from the public eye.
So, if they didn't just stumble upon it by accident, that forces us to pivot and ask a much more dangerous question. Where did the U.S. Navy actually get the crystal lattice for this memory metal? To answer that, we have to bypass the mainstream science textbooks completely and dig into clandestine aerospace networks and historical anomalies. Here's our briefing docket for today. We'll start with the memory metal deception, move into the mind-bending physics of phase shift, examine the ultimate smoking gun, which is the 1959 Naval patent receipt, flashback to the 1897 Aurora crash wreckage, and finally, trace the physical evidence to the Battelle reverse engineering pipeline.
All right, starting off with Section 1, the memory metal deception.
To really ground these spectacular claims in documented reality, we first need to define the material at the very center of this briefing: Nitinol. It's a compound of nickel and titanium, but it isn't just any metal. It's a highly classified, engineered shape memory alloy. Basically, if you bend it, crush it, or deform it while it's cool, it looks completely ruined. But apply a little heat, and it literally remembers its exact original engineered geometry and snaps right back into place flawlessly. It also boasts extreme heat resistance. It's one of those materials that simply defies common sense.
Which brings us to Section 2, the physics of phase shift.
Nitinol operates on a principle called a diffusionless solid-state phase transformation. Simply put, it shifts between two very distinct crystal structures. First, you have the Martensite state. When the metal's in this state, it's cool, highly compressible, and super easy to deform. But when you heat it above its specific transformation temperature, it instantly snaps into what's called the Austenite state. It becomes perfectly rigid and violently returns to its exact programmed geometric shape. The atoms inside the metal physically realign themselves in a flash.
Now here's the crucial point. According to our sources, this kind of behavior is a physical impossibility under conventional 19th century metallurgy. The standard aluminum-silver alloys of the past just don't possess structural memory. A metal that you can crumple up like a piece of paper and then watch it smoothly return to its original shape without a single crease, that was a complete mind-bending anomaly for its time. It literally shouldn't have existed.
Moving right along to Section 3, the 1959 Naval patent receipt.
Now, what's really interesting here is U.S. Patent 3174851A. This is the hard fact that anchors the entire investigation. The military-industrial complex actually left a paper trail, and this patent is the ultimate receipt of their ownership.
Let's break down the details on this. It was officially granted in 1959 to an inventor named William J. Buehler, who was working at the Naval Ordnance Laboratory, or the NOL. The subject was explicitly listed as nickel-based alloys, but according to the forensic audit in our sources, the Navy absolutely did not invent this shape memory alloy from scratch in a lab in the late 50s. This patent isn't a record of a brilliant human invention. It's the ultimate reverse engineering receipt.
So where did they get it? That takes us to Section 4, the 1897 Aurora crash wreckage. Let's rewind to April 17, 1897. An incredibly strange event goes down in Aurora, Texas. Just 2 days later, a man named S.E. Hayton published this explosive quote in the Dallas Morning News. About 6 o'clock this morning, the airship collided with the tower of Judge Proctor's windmill and went to pieces with a terrific explosion. And witnesses weren't describing a hot air balloon gone rogue. They described a massive, metallic, cigar-shaped vessel struggling to maintain altitude before a massive kinetic impact.
The contrast between what the townspeople found and how the military reacted is just staggering.
The local blacksmith and the townspeople gathered up debris made of an unknown, lightweight silver metal that possessed an impossible structural memory. It was essentially an early temporal iteration of Nitinol. But the U.S. Army Signal Corps officer from nearby Fort Worth, T.J. Weems, showed up fast. The military quietly confiscated all of that advanced metallic wreckage. Furthermore, a badly disfigured pilot was recovered from the site. Officer Weems enacted an immediate, terrifying cover story, officially declaring the pilot was not of this world and buried it in the local cemetery.
The lengths taken to hide this event are honestly chilling. The source Dossier notes that decades later, in 1973, civilian investigators actually secured a court order to exhume that Aurora grave so they could run modern DNA tests on this supposedly alien pilot. But right before they could do it, a covert team arrived in the dead of night, using metal-detecting equipment to illegally rob the grave and steal the headstone. The sources argue this wasn't to hide an alien. No, they say it was to prevent DNA testing from proving the pilot was actually a human operative, thereby hiding evidence of a chronological breach. Time travel, folks.
Section 5. The Battelle Reverse Engineering Pipeline.
Our sources outline a highly classified step-by-step logistical pipeline for the wreckage. Step 1. The physical debris confiscated by the military is ultimately acquired by the Foreign Technology Division, or the FTD, at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Step 2. That material is then covertly funneled out of the military base and straight into a private, non-profit organization, the Battelle Memorial Institute. Step 3. Scientists at Battelle spend decades covertly reverse engineering the impossible crystal lattice of the metal, eventually figuring out how to replicate those Martensite and Austenite phase shifts using terrestrial nickel and titanium.
The Battelle Memorial Institute, located in Columbus, Ohio, is actually described in these documents as the metallurgists of the gods. Because they manage national laboratories and operate in extreme secrecy, they acted as the primary custodians of the physical crash debris. They held the actual physical proof of the anomalous alloys, effectively keeping the truth totally locked away from congressional or public oversight, all while quietly feeding the reverse-engineered science back to the military.
And this brilliantly illustrates the undeniable chronological trail of the cover-up. The physical memory metal drops in the 1897 Aurora, Texas crash. By 1949, Battelle is quietly generating classified metallurgical reports on shape memory alloys. In 1959, the Naval Ordnance Laboratory files patent 3174851A, officially claiming the invention. And then by the 1970s, the mainstream scientific lie is aggressively pushed to the public, that scientists just happily stumbled upon this miracle metal by accident.
So why does this all matter to you? What's the big takeaway here? Well, our source material suggests a profound ontological shock. It exposes that the origin of modern materials science, the very metals used in our medical stents, our glasses, our aerospace tech, might not be the result of organic human innovation at all. It suggests that our current defense capabilities are heavily subsidized by the suppressed wreckage of anomalous craft and chronological breaches. It reveals a century-long manipulation of the public timeline, weaponizing our basic trust in standard scientific narratives.
Which leaves us with one incredibly haunting realization to ponder. If a covered-up crash in the 19th century gave us the shape-shifting memory metal that we use in our daily lives today, what else is locked inside the battle vaults right now? What other impossible technologies are just waiting to be quietly patented as human inventions tomorrow? Thank you so much for joining me for this briefing on The Explainer. Keep questioning the narrative, and we'll see you in the next one.